always wore this hat to see Dad. He liked it. Dad got a new stone. We're going to tour the place. I can't get in to fly over there, and I didn't want to disturb anybody. But about 100 years ago, there was a little cabin back in amongst those trees up on top of that rise, just over it. And that's where Wesley Eldridge Pratt was born in 1924. Back up on that rise there, amongst them cattle, there was almost like a one-room little house. It's long gone. That was a place in the late 40s where Wesley and Fritzine Pratt, a newlywed couple, first lived. This is the place that Dad came home to after World War II. It wasn't really part of his growing up, but it was one of his homes. And right over here is a gully. And as I understand it, the first tractor that Ernest Pratt owned, he rolled off in that gully yelling "whoa" because he was used to mules and didn't know how to stop that tractor. That doesn't look like anything but a patch of grass. But I can remember being too young to go to school yet, so I was probably 5 years old or so, playing in the sand right here where that fence is, while Mama hoed cantaloupes. And of course, that house there was where we lived, but it didn't look nothing like that. Back behind that place, the Pratt brothers dug a well, water well. It was located by a water witch, a fellow using dowsing rods. Back then, when I was in school, this road wasn't paved. Right here is a gully, and Fritzine Pratt drove a real pretty green and white Ford off in there and got her leg broke while I was on the bus going to school. Dad told us that all the headstone he wanted was whatever the Navy would supply him, so that's what we did. Of course, in Cameron, I got to stop by Mom. She didn't tell us not to get her a headstone, so. Fritzine Sedell Pratt. Love you, Mama. Okay, here I am in beautiful downtown Belmina, Texas. And right there is where Coy and Blanche Sherfield had a store. I picked tomatoes and cantaloupes for Coy for 50 cents an hour at one time. I'm about a mile away from the last of Daddy's roofs that I lived under. Mama would give me $1 and tell me to come down here to Coy's and get a loaf of bread and a half a gallon of milk, and whatever I had left I could spend on candy. And so I'd load up on candy, and then I'd come out and I'd sit on a bench in front of the store with Carlton. Now a loaf of bread was 25 cents and a half a gallon of milk was 50 cents, so that left me with about 25 cents. And Hershey bar was a nickel, Zero bar was a nickel, small Coke was just a nickel. And here comes the car. And so me and Carlton, we could kick back, and I could just about make myself sick on that $1. Well, of course, then I had a mile-long bicycle ride to get home over mostly gravel road.